As we go into the third section of Chapter 5, we're going to review multiplying polynomials. Now, in a sense, these are monomials, and we're just multiplying the numbers, and we'll be adding the exponents. So this will be 4 times 2 is 8, x to the 9th. Watching the signs, negative 3 times 5, negative 15, t to the 7th. Now negative times negative, this will be a negative 21.42 x, add your exponents, to the 8th. Now here, keep in mind we can cancel out wherever we can. The sign is going to be negative. This 7 will cancel with this 7, and we can take a 2 out of there and a 2 out of there. So we get a negative 1/4 a to the 11th. Now in these, we're going to use the distributive principle. Take this and multiply it by each of the terms within the parenthesis, being careful of the signs, and this will be a little class exercise. Alright, check your answers. Again, these are rather straightforward. Just have to be careful of the signs and careful as you put them into MATLAB. Remember, having them accurately listed in on your blue sheet. If you do copy them incorrectly, I can give you full credit. Now, we're multiplying binomials by binomials. In our next section, we're going to do what is called the FOIL. And in most cases, that's what you'll use when you do this. But you should know another way to do it as well. And the rule is you take your first member of the first binomial and multiply it by the second. Take the second member of your first binomial and multiply it by the second. And we'll do this one here. So this is x to the second minus 5x plus 3x minus 15. Now notice you have 2 like terms in the middle. So this will become x to the second minus 2x as you combine these two minus 15. Now another method that we're going to suggest too, you could do all of these this way, but another method would be to set it up vertically, which they'll ask us to do shortly, but I like to do it a lot. So let's do this one. 3x squared minus 4 times 2x squared plus 5. Now we're not adding here, and that's a 3 here. Got to copy it down correctly. So the rule is, and I'll change colors, you multiply this term by this term. That gives you a negative 20. Multiply this term by this term, and this gives you a 15 x squared. Now you're going to multiply this term by this term, and you have to put it in its own like term column, which is a negative 8 x to the third, keeping in mind that's a plus up there. Now this times this gives you a 6 x to the fifth. Now there were no like terms here, so now you just bring them down. 6x to the fifth minus 8x to the third plus 15x squared minus 20. So that's pretty straightforward. Now this one's a little tricky. So we could set this up. We could set it up vertically too. X plus 3/4, x plus 3/4, and we're going to multiply it this way. Now there is a special way that we will deal with this in the next section, but here's a way to do it as well. So 3/4 times 3/4 is 9/16. And this is x to the 3/4. Well, x times 3/4. So in fact, I should write that. So once again, 3/4 times 3/4 is 9/16. Then 3/4 times x is 3/4 x. And then this way, x times that is 3/4 x. X times x is x squared. So when we add this up, and I ran out of room a little bit, so x squared. Now, 3 and 3 is 6. 4th x plus 9/16. Now, theoretically, this is the correct answer, but notice this can be simplified. So theoretically, you should write it this way: x squared plus 3/2 x plus 9/16. Now, looking at this answer below, this is the one they give, but this is the one I would expect them to do if you were simplifying. But again, if you have the work on your blue sheet, I would be able to give you, in this case, full credit. All right, let's go on to this last one. And again, we could do it this way. Let's do it this way here. And we'll set it up like we did this one. So 1 times this, and then a negative 5x times this. So this will just be 2 minus 3x minus 10x plus 15x squared. So distributing, checking our signs, that looks good. Now we have like terms in the middle. So 2 minus 13x plus 15x squared. Now they often ask you to write this in descending powers, but this should be satisfactory as well. And that's how they have it listed below. All right, let's go on. Now these can be written out horizontally, but they can also be done as they are asking below to do them vertically. So let's do this one vertically. So we start over here, so we have a little room. Y squared plus 6y minus 3, and then this will be y minus 12. So again, being careful of the signs. Negative times negative is a positive 36. 6 times a negative 12 is a negative 72y, and this is a negative 12y squared. And the benefit of doing it this way is you get your like term columns. Now, y times a negative 3 is a negative 3y. Y times this is a positive 6y squared. And this times this is a positive y to the third. And then you can just bring them down, add them up. And you'll have plenty of time on your test. So go back, check that you've copied the example correctly, look at your signs, check your addition. You have the amount of time needed to do a good job on this, and you want to get your best score possible. We don't have to do every single one. We're looking for strategy. So negative b times negative b is a positive b squared. And this gives us a negative 8ab squared. And now this gives us a negative 8ab squared as we multiply this way. And now we're going to multiply this. This is a 64a squared b squared. Now we just add them up. 64a squared b squared minus 16ab squared plus b squared. Okay. Now you'll have practice doing these, and we've done some vertically already. So let's do this one where we have 3 in a row. So x squared plus x plus 7. And then on our bottom row, x squared plus x plus 1. Now the key to this is like term columns. So 1 times this is just this. 7 plus x and x to the second. Now x times this is plus 7x. This is going to be plus x squared, and this is going to be x to the third. Now this times 7 is plus 7x squared. This times this is x to the third, and this times this plus x to the fourth. Now notice if you did this horizontally, it'd be hard to keep track. So doing it vertically, and then you could put 1s out here if you'd like. It doesn't change its value, but helps you to keep it straight. So we can start here. X to the fourth. We don't put the 1s in our final answer. But this is 1 and 1 now, so this is 2x to the third. There's a 1 there too, so this is plus 9x to the second, 8x. And you can check this down below, and we have it correct. Okay, you'll be doing some practice and quiz me's, and again, you want to show your work carefully, neatly, orderly in your homework log.